Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Forum coming at you guys with another video, and it's been a while. I'm still alive. I'm here. I took a long hiatus after that Detroit Lion playoff game versus the Washington Commanders. Maybe a little bit longer than I really anticipated, but I was going through some stuff. But I am back, and this is my first video in a long time, man. Since the Commanders game. And what's that been? A few months, a couple months. So I'm back. It's kind of much needed break, a little bit longer than I expected, and we got some news out of Detroit Lions land. They did re-sign linebacker DERRICK Barnes. Now, before I start this, I just want to say, guys, I have videos coming up. I did some I'm doing draft videos again, like I've done every year. I am not a scout, but I do like to analyze these players coming out, and I'm taking a little bit different approach to it. Kind of the same approach, but a little bit different. I'm kind of focusing on the guys that the Lions have talked to at the combine. I know that there's a pretty decent sized list, and I'm looking at those guys as we speak, and those will be coming out. I got probably Jack Sawyer, the defensive end from Ohio State Buckeyes. Will probably be my first video, but those are coming. Those are going to be dropping soon. I'm just waiting on some things, and but it's coming. But I'm back, guys. I am back now. They re-signed linebacker DERRICK Barnes, 6 foot, 25-year-old, 240-pound linebacker, who they drafted back in 2021, fourth round. Traded up actually from the fifth round up. They got they traded a fifth and a fourth 2022 pick. The fifth was a 2021 pick, I believe, and the fourth rounder was a 2022 pick. They traded with the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, and they got a seventh back in return on that one too. I believe it was 2022 seventh round pick. So they did trade up for him. They liked him a lot. He was a Purdue Boilermaker in college. His stats, 4 years, 225 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 1 pick, 3 PBUs, pass the flex, whatever you want to call them, 1 fumble recovery, 1 forced fumble, 10.5 sacks, 4 years at Purdue as a Boilermaker, 7.5 sacks in 2019 as a junior, played defensive end, played linebacker and defensive end for the Purdue Boilermakers for his whole college career, kind of up and down. More linebacker than defensive end, but he did have a pretty decent year as a defensive end, acquiring 7.5 sacks. And then he hurt himself in his senior year, and I believe that might have been a reason for a little bit of his fall in the draft. I kind of gave that guy back in the day. I kind of gave him a third round grade, maybe an early third, mid third. Grade, and then him getting hurt. I think he was only available for 6 games in his senior year as a Boilermaker, and his draft stock kind of fell a little bit. But I think he was going to go probably in the third round, but he got hurt, so it happens. And he was more of a developmental player too as well, which Brad Holmes liked a lot, and that's what he kind of was in Detroit. Now he came to Detroit. Right, he came to Detroit Lions. He's been here for 4 years, 205 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hits, 4 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, only 4 sacks for 4 years. He hurt himself last year, obviously tearing his MCL. He tore his MCL and PCL in his right knee in 2024, week 3 versus the Arizona Cardinals. I remember this game because we lost 2 starters in that football game because Barnes was starting. Barnes started like 13 games back in 2023. 2024, he won the job kind of again in training camp and preseason over Jack Campbell. But he was kind of playing that Sam linebacker role, which is a very versatile role. You got to be able to pass rush, drop into coverage, play the run, set the edge, do a lot of things. A little bit more than the average linebacker in this defense, anyways. In that Aaron Glenn, well, now Kelvin Shepard's defense, and I think Kelvin Shepard is going to keep that Sam linebacker role going with him, with DERRICK Barnes. Now, like I said, that Arizona Cardinals game sticks out in my mind big time because we lost Barnes in that game, and I know DERRICK Barnes went on a little bit of a rant about how he got low blocked in that game. I don't remember the play itself. I really don't. Him getting hurt. I do remember him getting hurt. I don't remember if he was locked up, engaged, and if somebody went low on him, because that's a penalty in itself. Probably a fine. But I don't remember anything happening like that. But I know he was upset about that hit that he did get in that Arizona game. And then we lost Davenport in that football game too, where the old lineman was chopping at his forearm, and while he was locked up with an old lineman, and he ended up like breaking his arm, tearing his tricep. We lost 2 starters in that football game, and you guys know all about what happened with this defense down a stretch. You guys know it wasn't even down a stretch. It started in week 3. Then it just snowballed. You lost Hutchinson, then you lost this guy, then you lost that guy, you lost Rodriguez. You end up losing Anzalone for a little bit, Carlton Davis for the rest of the year, McNeil for the rest of the year. Next thing you know, 20-plus guys on IR. 20-plus guys on IR, 15, 16 players being on the defense, and that's how the story goes. But, you know what I mean? I don't really want to dwell on that. It's not about that. It's not about that, but you can tell it hurts a little bit inside still. But Barnes, man, he had a PFF last year, and I'm not a huge PFF guy, but, he had a 71.8 overall. It's 48th, the 48th best linebacker according to PFF. 77.2 against the run and 71 tackling, and a 57.7 pass rush. The 57.7 pass rush is pretty bad, but I don't think he really got any sacks last year in the 3 games. He's not a big sack guy anyways. Not at the NFL level, and he had one really good year doing it at the college level, playing for Purdue. But he plays a really critical role in this Lions defense. He's the same linebacker. You're basically calling this kid an Army knife. Like I said, you need him for the pass rush, play the run, set the edge, drop back a little bit. And he did all that in college too as well. Now this deal is at 3 years, $25 million deal, $16 million of it guaranteed. So you're basically looking at this, okay, it's the third year. Third year is a possible out, is my guess here. There's been no details coming out just yet. It's probably going to be maybe tomorrow or the day after. I haven't seen anything just yet. But if you're looking at this deal and you're thinking, well, he got overpaid, possibly, because this makes him like the 15th highest paid linebacker in the NFL as of right now. Now there's a couple guys waiting in the wings to get deals at the linebacker position, and he's going to fall out of the top 20. Now, I don't think he's a top 20 or 20. I don't even think he's a top 25 or 30 linebacker in the NFL, but he's decent. He's solid. But, the out's probably on the third year. The out's probably if he sticks around. So if you think about it, $16 million of it's guaranteed. You're looking at it could be $8 million per if they get rid of him in third year. If he sticks around, it's probably like a $5.3 million deal. Like you're looking at it, if he sticks around for the three years, so it's like a $5.3 million plus deal there, and he's going to probably have incentives. So now incentives include stuff like snaps, games played, tackles, sacks, interceptions, all that kind of stuff. All depends what they put in his contract. So to earn that extra $9 million. But if they get rid of him, re-sign or whatever they do, we can possibly save a little bit of money if they kind of let him go after year 2. Now, if you look at this linebacking depth right now, it's a little bit frightening. You got Alex Anzalone coming back one more year. You got Jack Campbell. Those are your 2 starters right now, Anzalone and Jack Campbell. I'll talk about Campbell in a second too. Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell. You got Campbell going into his 3rd season. They'll probably pick up his 5th-year option next year or extend him, whatever Brad Holmes likes to do. He likes to take care of his guys. Brad Holmes takes care of Brad Holmes' guys. That's what he does. So he's going into his 3rd year. We'll see what happens next year. Are they going to pick up his 5th-year option? I guess time will tell. But he's looking at 2 more years, Campbell, as of right now, with no 5th-year option, but I'm thinking they'll pick him up. Rodrigo was on his last year. Barnes, they just extended for 3 years. Anthony Pittman actually just re-signed him back. They just brought him back for a 1-year deal. I think last year he was making like $1 million plus. He's not making too much more. He's a practice squad guy. He's a special teams guy. He's nothing else. He's nothing really big. He's getting paid peanuts. So they brought him back. They got Abraham Beauplay on the practice squad as well too. Another guy that never really saw. I think he might have dressed one game. I'm not even 100%. Don't even quote me on that, but I think he did. But he's mainly a practice squad guy. And then they got Deron Gilbert back there too. So he's probably on a 1-year deal as well. If they re-signed him, I don't know, or if he was here for another couple of years, I don't know. I don't know. But those guys don't make a lot of money. But it's a very thin linebacking core. Do not be surprised. I'm kind of going off script here. Don't be surprised if they draft another linebacker coming up. So, because Anzalone's he's going to be 31 come September. So he was 31 during the season, get a little bit older, he's getting banged up again. So he could be one of those guys that could be shown the door after 2025. And Campbell's here to stay for a little bit, right? You got him for another 2-3 years, possibly more. Rodrigo is a question mark. Barnes is here for another 2-3. And Pittman, Beauplay, Gilbert are all question marks. You don't know. So Holmes is drafting a linebacker. He's 100% drafting one, just I don't know when. I know a lot of guys like Jihad Campbell at 28. We'll talk about that guy down the road. But what you're getting in a Derrick Barnes, and I don't want to make this too long of a video, probably already have by now. You're getting, you're getting a 25-year-old guy was a developmental player coming out of Purdue that Brad Holmes liked and moved up in the draft to get him. Gave up some draft picks to get this guy. Took him a little bit to get his feet wet. And there's two things when it comes to Derrick Barnes that a lot of people remember. And whenever I hear the name Derrick Barnes, obviously he's a Detroit Lions linebacker. There's two things I remember about Derrick Barnes, and I think everybody's going to agree with me here. Two things, okay? One is him in the Dallas Cowboys game when he had a clean shot on Dak Prescott and just ran by him. I don't even know what was going on in his head. Just completely ran by him, had a shot at him in the end zone for a safety, and ran by him, and Prescott threw like a 95-yard touchdown pass to I don't even know what his name was. The star wide receiver for the Cowboys. I can't even think about his name right now. It's going to probably pop up when I'm talking about it. But that's what I kind of remember about Derrick Barnes. And then the second thing I remember about Derrick Barnes is making that clutch interception against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 years ago. Coming from a guy that's not really known to drop back into coverage, but has to be able to do it in that Sam linebacker role. He's kind of getting better at that as the years kind of progressed. 1 and 2 were, a little bit, they were very rough, patchy roads, just getting his feet wet, learning the linebacker position itself. Because remember, he came into this league as a developing kind of guy because he played some defensive end and he played some linebacker as well in college. So he was a developmental kind of player. And then he'd get a little bit better. Year 3, he kind of blossomed a little bit in that Detroit defense. And then year 4 was set to be, a really good year for him. He beat out guys again. He beat out guys like Rodrigo. He beat out Jack Campbell. He beat out he beat out the first round pick, man, again. And then he got hurt in week 3. But I think that was, it sucks to say, but I think the best thing for Jack Campbell was Barnes going down. I hate saying it, like I don't like saying it because I never want to see a guy get hurt. But it kind of morphed Jack Campbell into a better linebacker, and now I don't think he's going to be taken off the field that much. And Jack Campbell had a great second year as a Detroit Lion. I think he had a really good second year. He's not the playmaker that we really want him to be for a first-round guy, but I think he's gotten better. He gotten better, especially since his first hit since his rookie year. I think he improved drastically in year 2, and I think now it's going to be kind of tough to get Jack Campbell off the field. So the Sam linebacker position is tough. It's a tough spot to play because, like I said, Calvin Shepard even said it. It's like you're playing 5 different positions, man. You're doing all kinds of different things as that Sam linebacker. He's going to implement it again into his style of defense. I don't think they're going to change too much. We'll see what happens with that style of defense. If it's going to be more aggressive, less aggressive, going to be more conservative. I don't really know. Are they going to blitz? Are they not going to blitz? I think I haven't heard too much about what Calvin Shepard said. I'm sure he said some things, but we'll see how he utilizes some of these defensive players. So, you know, we're getting a good player in Derrick Barnes. We're getting a guy that can play the run, I think, really, really, really well. I think he plays the run better than anything than he does else on his style of play. You got a little giddy up to the quarterback, not a guy that's going to get you 8, 10, 9, you know what I mean, all kinds of sacks. But he's going to be a guy that can pressure the quarterback. Quarterback hits, hurries, pressures, maybe a couple sacks, handful of sacks right there. And, you know, drop back into coverage. Probably still got to improve a little bit on that. He's coming back from an injury too as well. We'll see how that handles up. And people want to say that he was overpaid a little bit. Whatever. You know, he was kind of projected to make $5 million, maybe $5+ million, and the Lions gave him $8 million. If you break down the contract, if you kind of look at it from, you know, we haven't seen the total details of it yet, but it could, you know, $16 million. It could be a $5.3+ million deal. Not bad for a backup linebacker with some starting experience. Because you got to remember, he started slowly starting games, you know, after his third year. He started 13 games as a starting linebacker in the NFL for the Detroit Lions. And then it was supposed to be the explosion year in year 4. It just never happened because of the injury that he sustained, you know, to the MCL and PCL. So he tore that in half, his right knee. So, hey, man, that's what we're getting, man. We're getting a decent linebacker. This is my first video back. You know, the depth, you know, you added to the depth right there. He's going to be the first linebacker, in my opinion, off the sidelines and into the game. Could be spelling guys like Anzalone and Will and Jack Campbell, sorry. So he's going to be doing that, man. And he has starting experience, like I said, so he could, in a pinch, start if needed be if a guy like Campbell or Anzalone go down. And then you got Rodrigo kind of behind him as well right there. And I think they're going to draft somebody. So we'll see what happens there, too. He could be the 4th linebacker. You know what I mean? Barnes could be that 2nd linebacker coming off the sideline, being that number 4. LB4. So, wow. But hey, guys, that's it. That's the video. It was a little bit quicker, 17 minutes and change, a little bit longer than I wanted to go. But you guys know that I ramble a little bit, and that's what happens. So don't fret. Not that bad of a signing, guys. $8 million. We'll see how the contract is constructed. Just because it's $8 million per season, it comes out to that doesn't mean $8 million off the cap in the first year. It could be backloaded. It could be front-loaded, but my guess is it's backloaded. That's my guess. That's my guess is that it's probably a little bit backloaded. He's going to be getting paid. Not that, like, he's going to be getting paid a little bit less than that $8 million per season looks like. So I think it's going to be a little bit less than that. My guess is around $5 to $6 million, but I guess we'll see. We'll find out in the next coming days. But thanks a lot, guys. I'm back. Shoulder's getting better. Getting geared up to get to work soon. That's coming up in a few weeks. April 1st, back to work. And yeah, the clap's back too. So boom, got the clap going on. A little bit better. I can kind of raise my arm, which is looking good. So probably shouldn't have wore this too. It's too hot. It's absolutely too hot. I'm sweating like a dog. But thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate you. Orm's back. I'm back, man. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom there. Hit the ring-a-ling ding bell up top, and get all my videos, and like, comment, share this out. What do you think, Derrick Barnes? Back in the house. Good signing. I like it. Solid. Boom.